What is a flower? Maybe it's a technology of nature that captures the essence of the present moment, capturing the sun, the water, the wind, and the earth, converting the essence of all the experiences into the various colors and fragrances that we can see, smell, and feel.
There's just not just one type of flower and one type of color for our Khalsa Panth, but when you see different shapes of flowers, different colors of flowers, that's what makes the garden beautiful. So, Veerji, what do you think?
I definitely agree. I think the beauty of a flower garden is the colors.
Yeah. Hanji.
If it was all one color, it'd be a little like, yeah, it'll be nice, but it'll be more dull.
Yeah.
I think each color brings out other colors as well.
Yes.
I think the same.
It complements
It
each other.
complements each
Yeah.
other.
And Gurbani says like Rang Sabe Narayane,
Haan.
Jete Man Pavan. All the colors are the colors of Paramatma. And similarly, like the Khalsa Panth, we have like different colors of Bani, different colors of the star, and different things that we follow, different like karpanna we wear. But when we all come together, everyone looks so beautiful.
Penji, another translation of Rang
Hanji.
is love.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And kal aapa vichar karte the idea came was that each Maryada or each Jathebandi is a different love language to the Guru.
That was so cool. How we connected every Jathebandi to like a different love language. And I think when Guru Gobind Singh Ji sees like the garden of Khalsa Panth, like different colors and different scent, different smell that it gives out, it just makes Guru Sahib so happy. A photo captures a smile, a laugh, an expression, and the moment as a whole. And its only purpose is for someone to pick up that photo sometime later to experience all of the emotions felt on that day. The emotions of laughter, tears, happiness, sadness.
You were telling me about the Shabad?
Yeah.
Big fool.
So when I walked in to this flower field, I think the pankti that hit my mind was from Basantarag, Dekh Phool Phool Phule, Ahang Tyag Tyage. And Ma is saying, Dekh, like look at the fool, look at the flowers blossoming, and you see like now that we are here, there's like different types of flowers, different colors, and Ma says, look at them blossoming and Kriya hoya, like they are so happy, and when we look at them, we are so happy, And the next pankti is
Ahang Tyag Tyage. And I find that very interesting because a flower, it has a virtue of being very beautiful, fragrance, is pleasing to the eye. But there's a double-edged sword. With that beauty comes hankar as well.
That's true.
And poets do this often, they'll look at one thing from a positive angle, and then they'll look at the same thing with a negative angle as well. For example, and that Kavi Santokh Singh does that a lot with the Kamal Ful. In many places, it'll be Ustat the Kamal Ful, how it's attached to the ground, it's grounded, it's sitting on swampy waters, but it's detached. But then it shows the negative effect of the Kamal Ful as well when he wants to bring that point. And I think here, Ahang means Hankar, Tyag Tyage, Tyagna, because the full, its beauty is in its fragrance, but it's the negative effect of that is when it walks around in pride saying that I'm the most beautiful flower there is, there's no one like me, because it forgets there's hundreds and thousands right behind that flower.
That's true.
We forget that there's been thousands of people before me, hundreds and millions before me. I'm not the first and last person.
That's true. And if you look at like one flower and you look at a field of flowers, I think that effect jade hunda ya. You look at the beauty of the whole field of flowers, and this is sangati ya. They look more beautiful when they're together, and compared to just a single flower, which is also beautiful, but in that field of sangati, it looks much more beautiful. So it's amazing how we can connect to Gurbani just through Kudrat, just through the nature. So thank you, Viji, for that.
Gurbani is much like a flower and a photograph. It holds the experience of the Gurus, the Bhagats, and the saints. The praises that they sang, the emotions they felt, the enlightenment that they shared is all stored on each and every ang of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. ਹੋਰ ਚੀਜ਼ ਮੈਂ ਭੈਣ ਜੀ ਮੈਂ ਸੋਚ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ that the grouping of flowers teaches a value that the human civilization as a whole, every single person has a different face, different brain, different approach, different thought process, but that's Maharaj's creativity. Maharaj is the Karikar, right? They're the designer, they're the creator. They created each thought process like a flower as well. It has so many layers to it, so many depth to it. Pasarya hoya, that damag, you know. Each face, those eyes are thinking, like it's showing what's inside the brain, you know. Like when I'm talking to you, so your eyes can tell me what you're feeling, what you're expressing. And each eye is different. Each face is different, each expression, so much depth in that, you know. And when you put all those faces together, you get a more bigger picture of the creator. You get a more better understanding of Paramatma, kinna diverse hai, kinna rich complexities hai, so many intricacies, so
and
much.
You're like, and when you look at like the big picture, all you can say is like wah. Like how amazing is Paramatma to even think about the details that makes up the big picture.
And those details I feel is what Maharaj said, Kudrat. Kudrat kavan kahan vichar. Just how can you do vichar of that many layers, that much, you know, like there's like hun aapa dekh rahe hain, we see the world, but you know a programmer, they see the world in pixels. They like little pixels, right? Because they're designing all the pixels. And if you imagine the whole world is different pixels, no one pixel is the same as the next pixel. Same thing with our fingerprints. No one fingerprint is the same as another fingerprint. DNA strands, everything is so unique. You know, it's crazy. So kahan vichar, how can you do vichar, how can you contemplate on that? It's so diverse.
And you know, when you say everything is so different from each other, but yet the difference makes us all the same. How
that's
is
the
that?
crazy part.
You know,
it all makes us ek at the end of the day. You know, khel sankocha to nanak ek hai.
So how can we experience the taste of a flower? Well, we can have honey, which is all of the rasa, the essence of the flower. To make this, a bee extracts the nectar from a flower and creates honey, which is filled with sweetness. In a similar way, the satsang is where a Gurmukh may extract the nectar of Gurbani, bringing sweetness, ananda and bairag into their lives.
think about this. Bhagat Kabir ji one day went to the beach, looked at the sand, and Bhagat Kabir ji recited this pankti. Har hai khand, reet mein bikhri, hathi chuni na jaye. And Bhagat ji says in this first pankti ki Paramatma, Vaheguru ji, is like khanda, sugar crystals, and is just like scattered. It just scattered itself in reet, in sand, like where we are at right now. Now we are standing on the sand, and Paramatma just scattered in the sand. And Bhagat ji says, Hathi chuni na jaye. And someone who's looking for that sugar crystals for Paramatma cannot be as big as an elephant. Like that's the mightiest animal, on land. And it's so big, but an elephant who's so mighty and so high, representing that ego, that home, is not able to go into that sand and pick out that sugar crystals.
Why is that?
Because it can't see that sugar crystals. It's so tiny. It's mixed with the sand, and Guru Sahib Bhagat ji then says in the pankti, ki in the next pankti Bhagat ji says, Kahe Kabir, Gur Pali Bujai, Cheeti hoye ke khaye. Ki it's so interesting. Bhagat Kabir ji says that my Guru has given me this understanding, and I want you to explain that pankti.
Yeah. I you know what really spoke out to me is Bhagat Kabir ji's on the beach, like you said, and he sees an elephant on the beach next to the ant, and he's seeing this like whole thing play out. Right? Imagine that.
Oh my Guru.
But yeah, 100%. The elephant's trunk, sunda, is so fat. You know, if it sucks it in, it's gonna just suck in everything. It won't be able to separate the two. And life is about separation. Life is about babek buddhi. When you can extract the good from the bad. You can extract the tat, the foundation, the internal message throughout the whole scenario of this game of life. You know, and that's what the Kida is doing. That's what the Cheeti is doing. The ant is doing. It's walking on the beach, and it looks at the sugar. It looks at the sweetness of life. And the Rita, the sand, is just dry, just fikka. There's no life to it, right? There's nothing. You can't put a seed into the sand, it'll sprout into. But the sugar, you could put into water, make amrit out of it.
Whoa.
You take sugar, it'll give you sweetness, it'll give you the flavor of life, and that's what Bibi is, I think, hiding in the shabad. Is
And
that
that kiri, hana, that
kiri.
kiti hoye ke khaye, that look at an elephant is so mighty, and
So
that
mighty.
ego that I'm big, there's no other animal like me.
Yep.
You know, I can destroy anything, I can control the world. And a kida, like so small. And to find Paramatma, you have to be so humble like a kida.
Exactly.
You know, we were doing this vichar earlier, like you mentioned. You have to be so humble like a kida, go deep down there, and you can separate the good and the bad. You can separate the good, which is a khanda,
Yeah.
and leave the bad, which is the sand.
Another example is Maya. Maya is a sand,
Wow.
and the sugar is a Akal Purkh Vaiguruji. The
Vaiguru.
illusion is the sand, Maya, and the sugar is a Akal Purkh Vaiguruji. Becoming nirmal, becoming nimrata, becoming humble like that kira, you can extract the sweetness from this illusion, which is a Akal Purkh Vaiguru. You know. So
And that's so amazing. Okay, another thing that came to my mind was, if we look through the lens of an elephant and we just look at the red, like the sand, people will say like, oh, Rabahani. Like that, there's no sugar
Yeah,
in this.
you can't see
Rabahani
it.
is just this Maya, it's just negative, it's
Yeah.
just bad, you know?
because you
And
have
then
to go down to that microscopical level
Yeah.
to see.
to see that, hey, there is Paramatma
here, there's
in this
Paramatma here.
gandha, in this sand, you know, and then you'll be able to see Paramatma in everything, and you'll be able to pick it out.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. And look at how it's you know, when we come into nature, you know, we look at flowers, we look at the ocean, we look at the sand, and Gurbani has given all these analogies and help
So
us to
many
connect
messages.
to so many messages.
And I think that's what the Puggets were. They were one with nature.
Like-
Because they lived out there.
Yeah, they did.
They're not, you know, they're seeing everything talk to them.
Yeah.
They're seeing every single bird as it speaks, is speaking the message of Gurbani,
Right.
is speaking the message of Tat, is speaking the message of what is the truth of life, you know.
Right.
Another thing that we were saying was that the ant representing Nimrata represents the concept of Padshahi. Who is a Padshah? Who is truly the king of the world? Right? The king of the world is those nirmal, or is those humble beings. You know, Maharaj says, Jisnu Bakshe Sif Salaha Nanak Padshahi Padsaho. That those are blessed with the praise of Vaheguruji. And that's what the Bhagats are. They're just living, talking praises of Vaheguru. You know, and that's what Gurbani is filled with the praise of Vaheguru. That's exactly what Gurbani is. Every single ang, every single shabad is the praise of Vaheguruji. Those are blessed with Gurbani, those are blessed with the praises of Vaheguruji, to sing them with that sugar crystal, with that sweetness, you know, they're the Padshah of this world. They're the kings of this world.
Vaheguru. That's amazing, Veerji. So we're gonna enjoy the samundar, we're gonna enjoy Kudrat, and we'll see you again in the next vlog.